Hi everybody, welcome to VR365. What is going on? It is Friday evening here in Sacramento, California. We're talking about July 17th. It is 10:10 p.m. Not quite the witching hour, but pretty freaking close. And then across the ocean, across the Atlantic, it is 7:11 a.m. Just turned 7:11 a.m. in southern Poland. Simplex, what is going on?
Hi, Anthony.
How's it going?
Thanks for inviting me. It's great to be here. It's great to be your guest again. I'm a bit sleepy, so apologies in advance.
Yeah, it is crazy early. He has not even had his coffee yet, but we are going to get his thoughts on a lot of different VR topics. But you know, Simplex, when we thought about doing this episode, I had just planned it on being just a typical type of interview episode where we talk about all different kinds of stuff. But there is some legit news that is going on in the VR gaming world. And I haven't had a regular episode. I want to talk about it, but I also want to get your thoughts on it as well. So let's see here. We're going to try to switch over to the webinar. And yeah, so I do have you over here. I'm going to just you a little bit off to the side like this. All right, yeah, don't worry about your background, bro. It looks perfectly fine. Everybody's,
you can see,
dude, my room, check out my room.
Okay.
So my room, see how it's all clean right here?
But this is a garage, you know.
This is a garage too. I converted it.
I mean, mine's not a garage, but yours a garage. Yeah. I have a FrankenQuest here. You know, this is my FrankenQuest.
Oh, we are brothers in FrankenQuest. I have a FrankenQuest too. You have a FrankenQuest, and you've got a weight on the back of the FrankenQuest as well.
This is a battery pack, man.
Oh, okay.
This is a battery pack.
Okay,
so it's great. It doubles as as a weight.
Yeah.
You know?
All right, well, we're going to be talking about the Quest, actually. There's some major Quest news that's going on, potentially, is in the news. We're going to talk about that real quick. But first, dude, let me get to the most incredible story that is so underreported this week. I can't believe it. Right. Let me see here. What am I looking for? Get in the right section here. Okay, hold on. I need to grab this web browser. Yeah, so, okay, check this out. This goes back. This story was on rthansvr.com back on July 10th. And so check it out. I saw this story. I read it. And I was like, what? I was like, is this for real? Because if this is for real, why isn't everybody and their mama talking about it? And nobody was talking about it. So what does it actually say? Okay, so this is this thing where it's the final hours of Half-Life Alyx, this special documentary thing or whatever that came out, like this book or whatever the heck it was, right? So anyway, revealed during this thing were two other works in progress, two other virtual reality games that were coming. One is called ARTI, A-R-T-I, as well as a project codenamed Simtrek. And both of these titles were stopped as the development team shifted full gear into developing Half-Life Alyx. And Simtrek was supposedly started by members of the team behind Kerbal Space Program. And so there were these two games, ARTI project and Simtrek. And remember Simplex when we heard about the 3 AAA Valve games and everybody was like, oh dude, it's going to be a Half-Life VR game, it's going to be Portal VR, it's going to be Left 4 Dead VR. We're getting 3 AAA VR games from Valve. That's so incredible. That's so amazing, right? And everybody was talking about this for years. And then we hear that these 2 other games are not being actively developed. Like they just stopped developing. Okay, so this was on July 10th. Now, no one else talked about this until finally on July 14th, like 4 days later, Road to VR also basically said, hey, whoa, the fate of the other 2 Valve VR games developed alongside Alyx. Book reveals the fate. And you can see this guy with his hands in his head going like, damn, this is not right. This is not good. And that's because that's the loss of two of these big AAA games that we were supposed to get. So this one also says the book reveals that Valve was working on a game called ARTI, which was built with a Minecraft-like voxel-based game engine that was separate from Valve's source engine. It was described as a fun, lighthearted game in a similar vein to the Portal series, transported players to a manipulatable world with full construction and destruction abilities. That game started in 2013, originally wasn't a VR game, but was converted to VR. And then there's also this SimTrek thing that was being developed by some of the members behind Kerbal Space Program. So, Simplex, I want to ask you about this. Let's see here. So, let's see. We want to switch back over here. So, I want to ask you, man, 3 AAA Valve VR games, are those other 2 games dead? Or is this something different?
You know, I think Valve starts working on multiple projects all the time. I mean, games, and they abandon them. Because they have this very flat structure where every employee can just basically do whatever he wants, and it turned out that people would start projects and then they would just abandon them. So I don't think they were AAA quality level, on the same level as Half-Life Alyx, and you can see the screenshots even,
Well, this actually is like this is just from Half-Life Alyx. This is like chapter 2.
I mean, I found a tweet with some screens from Project RT.
Oh, really?
It's voxel based. Yeah, I can somehow send it to you. Also, the guy says RT project was later resurrected as a VR experience.
Yeah.
So
let me just do it like a general Google search for RT and see if actually that looks pretty dope. Wait, hold on. We can switch over to Twitch webinar right here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so like this one right here. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it looks kind of cool. I mean, yeah, it's kind of Minecrafty. Are those like like these are actual specific screenshots of it? It's kind of crazy that the final hours of Half-Life Alyx. Yeah, so I guess it is. Yeah, so yeah, you think that maybe these are not the AAA games that we're looking for, but what about, because one of the things that I'll say about this whole thing is I've been harping on this before. You've probably heard me on one of my episodes saying it's been a long, long time since Valve has said anything about those other 3 games. It's like they conveniently, it's almost like they wanted to bury that information and like they don't even want to be asked about it because we haven't seen them mention it whatsoever since like 2018 or something. I don't think anybody's been on the record about it. And then you hear about these 2 games that basically the development stopped. Now, who knows? Maybe Kerbal Space Program developers are back banging away on it. Simplex, did you also hear, though, about Half-Life Alyx, about the Half-Life franchise? The developers want to make a flat game now. Did you hear about that?
Really? No.
Yeah. Supposedly now they want to make a flat game. So it's like, oh, man, what is going on here? VR, it's the trough of disillusionment. It's rearing its ugly head again, man. We were supposed to get 3 AAA Valve games.
True.
Do you think there's any chance, though, that... what do you think Valve is going to do with VR? I mean, they made this freaking headset, and they made this one really incredible game, and they spent a ton of money doing both of those things. Do you think they're sitting in their ivory tower and they're like very pleased with both of the sales of the Valve Index and the sales of Half-Life Alyx? Are they like mildly entertained by it? What do you think? What do you think they're feeling about that?
I mean, they seemed really excited and happy after Alyx released, right? They said that Alyx re-energized their will to make games. They want to make more games in this universe. So I hope that they will do this, what they promised. Maybe if they do a flat Half-Life game, it will also be VR compatible. It will not be VR exclusive, but it will be VR compatible, I hope.
Yeah. I mean, it's it's kind of a Debbie Downer story when we hear about this, because I got to say, those 3 AAA games, like, you really count on that because, I mean, it's kind of unfortunate, honestly. If you compare Valve with Oculus, both of these companies want VR, seemingly want VR to move forward. Gaben likes VR, I think, a little bit deep down inside. He might pretend that he doesn't like especially care either way, but I feel like he kind of likes VR. But you look at Facebook, and they've spent so much ridiculous money bringing all these different higher end VR games like Stormland and Asgard's Wrath and all the games that they've been bringing to their platforms. And Valve has just done this one game. Don't you think they do need to at least do like one more thing? Especially, I mean, they brought out their own hardware. They brought out their own headset. Just one single game and then walking away from VR? That seems kind of weird.
I mean, yeah, I think they totally should. And if those are really, if those two projects, RT and Simtrek, are really those 2 games out of 3, and they got abandoned, that would be a really bad news. But on the other hand, maybe they're not. Maybe they're still working on something internally. The worst part about Valve is that they are horribly secretive, and we're just learning about this from the book or something. Right?
You know what? You know that guy Tyler McVicker? Do you ever watch?
Yeah.
He should know all about this, right? I need to call that dude up, right? Like he should, because, well, he always has like his theories on all this stuff. Yeah. So like, what does this really mean? Where's Tyler McVicker when you need him is basically what
exactly.
I'm trying. Yeah. So yeah, I think this is a really big story, but what about this? If we go to Upload VR, I'm going to go over to Upload VR. And let's see, let's switch to the Twitch webinar back here. And so on Upload VR, they have not covered this. Like they've got 5 different stories about 5 Nights at Freddy's coming to the Oculus Quest. Right. But they have not covered 2 of the 3 big Valve games possibly being canceled. I mean, isn't that the freaking biggest story? To me, that's the biggest story right now.
I think there's no confirmation that these were actually those 2 other big games that Valve was working on, you know? So maybe that's overinterpretation. I don't know.
They're 2 Valve games that they were working on, but maybe they're not the big ones. But do we really think Valve's working on like 5 different VR games? I don't know, man.
I don't know. I don't know. But I just know that they prototyped a lot and abandoned a lot.
Yeah.
I think.
Here's what I think. I think maybe there will be additional Valve AAA VR games, but I don't think there's anything currently being worked on right now. And I think that is freaking terrible. Unless they're doing some kind of little mod, like some kind of mod with like Half-Life 2 or, you know, trying to VRify some of that stuff. Maybe some of that stuff is going on. But I don't know, man. I'm a little bit nervous about that. But okay, let's see, there's another major story we wanted to get to, and the other major story is basically the possibility of new Oculus headsets. But wait a minute, man, I actually think everybody is like way off the mark with this new story that's coming out. Have you heard people like chatting about that there's like a brand new Oculus headset that's coming out this year, maybe a Quest 2, maybe a brand new Rift is coming? Have you heard anybody talking about this? Because like supposedly production has started on a new Oculus headset. Have you heard that?
Yes, I heard about it. I think it may be misinterpreted or overinterpreted, actually.
Okay, so I was like, okay, maybe this is real, right? And so I found out who did this story, and it's the Nikkei Asian Review. This is where the story comes from, that like Upload VR and everybody is quoting. And so let me read to you what it says to me. It says, so let's see. It says Facebook's Oculus, the global leading provider of virtual reality headsets by market share, is eyeing growth of at least 50% from a year ago for its later version of head-mounted VR devices, pushing production to 2 million units, sources said. Okay, then it starts talking about PlayStation. Okay, then it goes back. Let's see. Okay, keep going. But the orders. Okay.
There's a quote: "The new Facebook Oculus VR headset will enter mass production around the end of July."
Okay,
That's one
let
of
me
them.
find that quote because what everything I read, it sounded like they're just making 2 million more quests. Like
Eh,
I don't know. I'm not. Let me see. Now I'm searching through here, but the
maybe use search on page function, Control F. And they also said suppliers are working on reducing the weight of devices to improve user experience. But this is very general
but are you on
statement.
the actual? Are you on this Nikkei Asian review? I'm not talking
Yeah,
about. Okay, you are on
yeah,
there.
I am.
Okay.
I am because
Oh
I
yeah,
because I
okay,
also
the
very
new Facebook Oculus VR headset will enter mass production around the end of July. Okay, now that sounds great, but you know what? There's another little thing in this story that I saw, right? I saw them talk about Sony's PlayStation VR, which came out in 2015. That is in this story as well. Okay,
and it
I'm serious. I
came
can
in
find
16.
no, but that's what it says. It says 2015.
Oh, okay.
I can find that in this story. It
Yeah,
says the PlayStation
true.
VR
Yes,
is
I found it.
2015, and it's like, okay, you got that shit wrong. So like everybody's
Yeah,
running to the bank with this story, man. I don't know. It might just be
yeah.
like,
I'm with you on that. However, it does corroborate an earlier rumor, right?
well,
That said that
Delmar, right?
Facebook.
Delmar.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe this is just maybe people just figured that this must be this.
Yeah, yeah. So what do you think when it comes to like what do you have an Oculus Quest?
Yep.
And actually one of the questions I want to ask you about having an Oculus Quest is for some reason, I don't know, part of me thinks that you're probably a bit of a graphics whore to some degree. Like you got a
True.
little bit of Girillo in you probably, right? And so it's like, but yet you have an Oculus Quest. So what is it about the Oculus Quest that you can still enjoy that?
First of all, I, the regarding the graphics whore part, if I was a real graphics whore, I wouldn't go into VR because you remember how those games looked in 2016?
Yeah, yeah.
No self-respecting graphics whore would touch those games with a 10-foot pole because they looked really, really basic. But they were in VR, and so it wasn't as much as important as how they looked, And I think it still holds up today. It's the immersion, it's the lack of friction in Oculus Quest, the fact that you can just put it on and play immediately. This is what brings me to Oculus Quest, and those games look good enough, I think, and lack of wire and ease of use, basically console-like experience, is making up for any
But what
deficiencies in
about
graphics.
this? Okay, so you did your Franken mod, you did
Yeah.
your Franken mod, and you have your battery pack on the back and all of that. Do you feel like you've
And
finally reached a comfort nirvana with it?
no, it's never. It's impossible. It's after adding Frankenquest, the deluxe audio strap and this battery pack on the back. It's so heavy now. I wouldn't be surprised if it weighed about I don't know, 700 grams, maybe a kilogram. It's really heavy, and I didn't realize this until I put on Index, and I was like, "Whoa, this is so light! It's crazy."
Well,
So
what I'm amazed about is like I got the whole Franken mod thing as well, but I still can't seem to get the thing fully comfortable. And I got
yeah,
the VR cover face one. I got the fat one, and I have it on there. And then I have the Franken mod. You would think those would combine together to solve the
right.
problem.
No, Frankenmo. I was also a bit disappointed because I thought that if I install the deluxe audio strap on the Index, it will just be a solution. But it's better, but it's not ideal, unfortunately.
What about on the Quest though? What have you been playing recently? Like, what are the last couple of games you've been playing on your Quest where you're like, this is really entertaining me?
I've been playing Audica.
Okay, Haruka.
I've been playing Audica again, and I cannot recommend this game enough. I think it's amazing. I was trying to beat some of my old scores. I managed to get into like top 300 scores in some songs. I managed to do. Have you ever did a gold run? I think it's called gold run or something, or gold stars. There's this after you do everything on
and it goes
an expert.
when it makes
Yeah,
that
but
noise.
and if you do I think it doesn't have to even be a full combo. But if you do a really really great score, I think you have to achieve, I think 95% of like a perfect theoretical score in which you do everything perfectly. Then your score has those gold rings around those those discs, on the leaderboard. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So I managed to do few songs on the gold score. So that's a really nice achievement. And
so you're playing it on the Quest, and have you also played did you play the PC VR version for a while too?
I did, and I think it's easier. I know it sounds crazy, but I think it's easier to aim and to be more accurate on Quest using the touch controllers than on Knuckles. I don't know why.
Well, Knuckles are a problem to begin with in the first jam plays. Let's be honest. The Knuckles are not that great, Johnny. I don't think so.
Yes, I agree with you. I agree.
Yeah, so that's awesome though, because see, I've never played. I haven't played Audica on the Quest. And for it to be a good version of it, that makes me feel good because I trust your opinion on that. So if you say that the Quest version's pretty solid, then that sounds real good.
It's very solid, and it has cross-buy. So
oh yeah,
I actually bought it second time because I've had it on Steam, and I think I wanted to play on the Quest, so I actually bought it for the second time. So I think
it's kind of amazing that people are doing that, huh? It's because of the convenience of the Quest. So what about In Death? Is that going to tempt you when that comes out next week?
You know what? Actually, it turned out I just learned by accident that the developer of In Death, Super Bright, is Polish. Did you know that?
I didn't know they were Polish, but I knew it was Super Bright.
I reached out to them, and they gave me a key.
Awesome.
Because I remember if I told you that I'm co-hosting a podcast in Polish about games and VR. Yeah, it's called M Kwadrat, which means M squared, basically, because it was started by two guys whose names started with M, so they did M, M to the power of 2.
Yeah.
And then they couldn't do it anymore. They didn't have time, so me and another guy sort of took over from them, and we have a web page, we have a Spotify channel, iTunes, YouTube, everything, the works, and I can now act as a podcaster influencer who's asking for review keys.
Yeah,
so far I've been ignored.
Get some of those free games, baby.
I asked for the persistence devs. They just totally ignore me. I think I asked the guy Golden for a key for virtual desktop because I've had it on Steam already and there's no cross-buy. So I thought maybe he would offer me a key for Quest, but nope. He just told me there's no
in the early days, man, it's hard to get keys. You'll send out all kinds of requests. Here's the thing, though. You got to be careful because I feel like when I ask for a key from somebody, I feel like I owe them at least a 15-minute segment, on VR. And there's some games that I haven't really talked about that I've gotten keys recently, and I got to make up for that one day.
This is why I've been hesitant to do that much. But for In Death, I made an exception. But you know what I scored? You won't believe it. This is a really interesting story. By total sheer luck, dumb luck, I scored GeForce 2080 Ti.
Oh my
from NVIDIA.
God.
Yes,
that's nice.
It's almost unbelievable because there's this other guy who's on YouTube, another Polish guy who has a very famous video game translator. He has one of the biggest and most respected video game translations agencies in Poland, and he's also a great fan of VR. He has almost all the headsets, and I was a guest on his show. And a guy from NVIDIA Poland saw that.
Oh my God!
He offered me and him 2080 Ti.
Wow, you lucky dog, man!
Yeah,
that's a rare treat right there.
Yeah, that's totally. I mean, I think this is I think this is the best, loot I've ever I've ever get, and already did on the beginning of my, career, so to say.
Yeah, that
So
pretty
that's
much makes up for
crazy.
your whole career right there.
Exactly.
It
Yeah.
covers it.
So now I have a 2080 Ti. So that's crazy.
Do you already have it? You've already installed it?
Yeah, I got it like few weeks or months ago. I don't remember. You know what? This happened just
What
before
did you have
the
before?
pandemic. I had 1080 Ti.
But
So
that's the $1 million question, right? Are you noticing any real difference, or like is there, or have you tried to like test anything to see if you can notice anything?
I get a bit higher frame rates in my games or a bit higher resolution, especially in flat games, and also I can enable ray tracing RTX, but I think no VR game as of yet supports it, right? Have you heard of any game that supports RTX?
No, no. I mean ray
Me
tracing, you
neither.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't. It's only in flat games. So the difference between 2080 Ti and 1080 Ti is not that big. It's 2080 Ti is about 30% faster in general. So
That's actually, I mean, if it really is 30% faster, that's actually decent because, I mean, you'll notice that occasionally.
yeah,
You could probably, you know what
it's
you
true.
can do is you could probably run a lot of stuff at 144 hertz.
Yeah, but my TV, unfortunately, I'm using a TV, and my TV does 60 hertz at 60 hertz at 4K, and if I want to play in 120 hertz, it has to be 1080, 1080. So full HD,
Wait,
and it's a
what's your primary PC headset?
index.
Index.
Oh,
Okay.
you mean
Yeah, I
refresh
mean,
rate?
yeah, I'm talking 144 in
You
your index.
you know what? I tried. I don't see a big difference. I think that I honestly don't see a difference. I see more difference in super sampling. Basically, I tried 144 and 120 and I think 100. I don't remember what index offers. I know it offers 144 and I think 190, right? Do you remember?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not sure. Anyways, I tried 144 and I tried 100 and I didn't see a difference, but I noticed that the automatic super sampling gets way reduced. So the graphics were observably worse. I could see that, but I didn't see any benefits from the higher frame rate. I did not. So I'm just sticking to 90.
Yeah, I'll tell you
I
what.
honestly don't see it.
I'm glad I have a 1080 Ti because I don't think the
Yeah,
2080 is. But I mean, hey, I'd rather have it, of course. If you give me one, I'll take it for sure. Did you sell
exactly.
your 1080 Ti or did you put that in another computer?
I gave it I gave it to my co-host.
Oh, okay.
Because I think he earned it too because we were working on this podcast together. So I gave it to him. I figured, well, if I'm scoring a free, 2080 Ti, the least I can do is give him because he had a very old card. So
Yeah,
that
that's a good idea.
and
That's
1080 Ti is a great card. I mean, I think it's a bit a proof of how the graphics card market stagnated horribly over the past 3 years.
yeah,
If you have a three, yeah.
but here's the thing though. If you had some Nvidia stock, you wouldn't be
True.
worried at all. Oh my God.
Of
Have you
course.
seen how much that stock has gone up in like the last year? It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I'm a bit, well, I think it's possible to buy stocks in Poland, to buy Nasdaq stock in Poland, but it's complicated. But if I lived in the US, I would buy. I know it's always hindsight is always 2020, but I would buy AMD stock. Do you know that AMD stock at one point was worth about a $1?
Oh yeah, yeah, they were way low. They were way
And
low.
they already promised Zen, right? The new CPUs, and it was a really high probability that that Zen will be a good CPU. So if you bought AMD stock, do you know do you know about stock of CD Projekt Red, the developer of Witcher?
They have stock? I
Do you,
didn't know. I thought they were private.
they are now worth more than Ubisoft.
Oh my goodness. Well,
This is crazy.
they have their distribution network, right?
Well, they have GOG, but
Yeah.
Ubisoft has your favorite Uplay, right?
Yeah, but people love GOG. That's the thing.
Yes,
You know.
yeah, because it's DRM free. But this is crazy because Ubisoft is a huge international conglomerate that published dozens of games. They have Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs, and what does CD Projekt have? CD Projekt, they have Witcher and they have Cyberpunk, maybe, and their stock is already worth more than their company is worth more than Ubisoft. It's worth billions of dollars. It's actually now, I think, one of the highest valued companies in Poland. It's higher than the biggest bank in Poland, the biggest energy company in Poland. This is madness. And I also never bought their stock. I remember their stock was for like $3 or like $4. Yeah, and it was already almost after The Witcher 3 came out. And then it was crazy. It was every time their stock would surge, I would say, well, the best time to buy their stock it's already gone. It won't go up much.
And then it just keeps going. Yeah.
Yeah, and every time I was like, it's not gonna go much anymore. And knowing my luck, I think I would buy that stock and then it would crash. So.
Yeah, because when you finally do, then that's when it decides to go down. It happens.
That's why I never did it. I just sacrificed myself for all the other guys. If I bought it, it would crash. So I didn't do it, and all other people could profit.
Hey, you mentioned Ubisoft though, and you mentioned Assassin's Creed, and don't you remember when there was that rumor last year that Oculus and Ubisoft had made some kind of deal, and there was going to be 2 VR games, and we didn't know what they were, but the rumor was Assassin's Creed and Splinter Cell VR, and all this year. We haven't had any real. We didn't have a GDC. We didn't have a Facebook F8 or we haven't had these things, right? And so there's been no announcements. But are you kind of surprised? Because Ubisoft just did a thing, right, where they were talking about
Forward. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and did they talk about any VR games at all? I haven't heard of anything.
I don't think so. But I think some more details were revealed about their. Arcade,
some
thing.
arcade VR game. Yeah, an arcade VR
that's
game.
Prince of Persia, Dagger of something, I think. Am I right? Or am I right? Yeah. 16 hours ago, Upload VR, first Prince of Persia, the Dagger of Time VR arcade game images revealed. So that's a fresh news. But since it's arcade, I don't care about it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's what happened? Where's the big announcements this year? Have we had a single? What's the biggest announcement this year? What's a VR game that we didn't know about, and we found out about it this year, and it's a big game? I can't think of anything really.
In Death is coming to Quest. Onward is coming to Quest. Those are the big announcements. All the ports, all the Quest ports, the Questicles.
Yeah, but you know what?
But you're right.
It's funny, those ports. That's all they get, but God, they're so good, right?
Yeah, I mean, before I sidetracked, before I went on a tangent about my video card and stuff, I wanted to talk about In Death, because I was very surprised by In Death, because I saw those first trailers. I don't know if you saw them. The first trailers of In Death on Quest looked bad. I thought that this game was horribly downgraded.
Yeah.
And I stopped caring about it. And then I heard from a guy, the same guy that made me realize that the developer is Polish. He said that this game looks amazing on Quest, and that this level, because they presented a new level, the Abyss, in the trailer, because they wanted to show the new content, and it's very red, and red, for some reason, red compresses very bad in video. You probably noticed it sometime, that red gets
I think this trailer looks really good to me.
I think it's a new one or something. Maybe it's a different one, or maybe I just saw it on a huge screen from some stream, and it was very compressed. I don't remember. Maybe I just I don't know, got biased or something. But he told me that this game looks great, and it's made on Vulkan, this renderer that also Alex is made on. And Vulkan, if you program well on Vulkan, which is low level, it allows you to squeeze a lot of power from a device. And I think they did that, because that game, I played it yesterday because I wanted to talk about this in our.
Are you allowed to talk about it?
I'm not sure I am, but.
Okay, but you're not going to talk bad, so it's all right.
You know what? Yeah, but I'm not streaming it. Virtual Strangers already did a preview.
Oh, okay.
lots of YouTubers already did a video preview. So
Yeah.
how I'm not sure. I
You're
think
probably
if they
good.
did it
You're probably
already,
all right. You're probably all right.
and also I'm only showering it with praise. So
Yeah. Well, it's first impressions, so it's your first impressions. It's no
yeah,
big deal. But like,
my first
were
impressions
you
are very good.
were you an in-depth guy on PC VR at all, or are you new
I
to
know you
in-depth?
were.
Yeah, I
I remember
was.
your story when you were first saying in depth, I don't like it, like, and then wow, it's great.
In-depth.
No, I mean I played for like an hour, few hours. I never got really hooked up,
Oh, okay.
but I saw that this game can be really really, really interesting.
It's addictive, man. For me, the
Yeah,
thing that I love about this game is it was just when you used to play video games like in the 90s and stuff, or the early 2000s, and it was like you're hitting the buttons, like you're getting a good feel of the game, you know what I mean? Like you're interacting with the game and you feel like you're really got control of your character or
yeah. If
whatever.
it has tight controls,
Yeah, and,
yeah,
and that's what In Death was on PC
yeah.
VR, at least. It was like the bow shooting action just felt
Hmm.
so good. And so like you'd
And
have
they nailed it.
yeah.
Yeah, so it works really good on Quest. I mean, I was afraid that the bow on Quest would not work, because of the tracking or something. It works great, but the only thing it doesn't have yet smooth locomotion. But they are aware that people want it. I mean, it always amazes me that
Wow, that is
some
amazing.
developers
That is
think that
amazing.
like you want this, like we had no idea you want artificial locomotion. It's 2020, like, we had no idea.
You know what game I played that didn't have smooth loco either is The Rig. That
Uh-huh.
game called The
Okay.
Rig. The Rig actually is not that bad, but it's like, yeah, there's no smooth loco, and you're in these really small rooms, so the teleporting isn't that bad, but it's like, yeah, let's enter the year 2020. Like that was fine in 2017, you know.
I think there was a recent game on PSVR, I think, or something that doesn't have. This has no teleportation. I can't remember, but I think I've just heard about a relatively new game which has no teleport. It slipped my mind. Do you remember? I think it
No.
may have been PSVR.
But you know what?
Damn it.
Here's another Quest game. Let's talk Quest again. Okay, check this
Yeah,
out.
please.
I've just been playing this golf game on the Quest. Okay, so I didn't
Okay.
really know about this golf game. It's called Pro Putt by Topway or something like that. Pro Putt by
Hmm.
Topway, I think is what it's called. And basically what it is, it's miniature golf. You're just using a putter, but it's not like wild. It looks like a regular golf course, but all you're doing is putting. And sometimes like it's par four, par five, but like you don't actually have real kind of golf clubs. So it's basically putting the whole way. But I didn't buy this game. We have a VR Roundtable account where we have a lot of Quest games on it, and I believe Gary bought this.
Hmm.
And I don't know if he bought it with his own money or he bought it with like some like super chat money that we had from VR Roundtable or something. But I happened to just see the game on there, and I'm like, oh, Pro Putt by Topgolf. Let me try this out. And you know what, dude? It is fun on a stick. It is just so fun. It just plays so easy and smooth. The graphics are basic as hell. Like, this is not for graphics whores at all. But you get on these different courses and you'll see like a rabbit that's running around, or like a squirrel, or there's like a deer or something. So there's little things going on, like smoke is coming up in certain areas and stuff. But it's incredibly basic at the same time. Like sometimes I'm looking at some of the graphics and I'm like, I feel like I'm in a Super Nintendo golf game or something. So it looks kind of old school like that, but very fun. And there's so many games like this that's hitting the Quest all the time. The Quest is just having a great time for itself right now.
Yes. I think the Quest is sort of the future of VR gaming, and people just now crucify me. But
No, people hate on the Quest, but they need to get
yeah,
over it and realize, I mean, it's amazing how well the Quest is doing considering it is totally uncomfortable. But
yeah,
everybody,
exactly. Underpowered.
yeah, it's incredibly uncomfortable. But this is the Quest new releases. So I'm over here on the Quest store, and they've banged a lot of stuff out recently. Five Nights at Freddy's, of course, is the big game.
Yeah.
Personally,
Have you heard it got like 1,000 or 2,000 reviews in one
oh
day?
my God, yeah, let's go ahead
How
and
crazy it sold! I mean, whoa.
yeah, let me look at it right now. Let's see how many total reviews it has right now. Let's see. Oh yeah, we'll go right. Oh, 1,600 and
Yeah.
yeah. So it's got 1637. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of the most popular games on the platform. I've played Five Nights at Freddy's a little bit on the Steam VR version, and I mean, I understand what it is about the game, and I understand like the phenomena that it was on the internet and everything, but I don't know. I feel like it's crazy
I'm
overrated. I feel like it's probably ten
Yeah, me
dollars
too.
too much at least.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree with you, man.
But they can get
Totally.
away with it though. They can get away with
Yeah, I
it.
mean, get those monies,
Yeah.
You know what's coming on? I mean, Onward is coming on Quest. It'll have full crossplay with PC. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's coming
It
at the end of
it's
this month, right? I think.
yeah, and I'm wondering, maybe I'll ask for for a review key. We'll see.
Try for one. Yeah.
But
Yeah, but
yeah, why not? I mean,
looking at like all
I
these
played a lot of
games.
Onward. Sorry for interrupting you, but have you played Onward at all?
Yeah, I played it when there was a free weekend on Oculus. Remember when Oculus on the Oculus Rift would do like these free weekends, like every
Yeah,
weekend it would be like some certain game, and Onward was free, and I tried it, and I remember being in that one map where it's like a suburb residential neighborhood, and I'm like, this is
yeah,
kind of Call of Duty. Like, I'm like, I can see why
true.
people like this. It's pretty sweet.
Have you? Because you know what I'm playing. I'll admit I'm too scared, sort of, to go to play, multiplayer, the competitive one, the PvP, because I've heard lots of, lots of Iraq veterans and Afghanistan vets are playing those games. I can believe that. But you know what I'm playing? I have two friends that have it, and we play co-op, man. Co-op is great.
Co.
You just go against bots.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can play on every map, and you can just set the number of bots, their skill, like their difficulty. And I think you have two modes. You have one mode where you just have to kill all the bots on the map, and you have another mode called, I think, evacuation, where at one point on the map you get there's a flare, and on that flare location a chopper will land, and you have to evacuate. So you have to run through the map while being attacked by hordes of enemies and get to the chopper.
Hey, you know
And
what?
it's really great.
The Onward for Quest is being developed by Downpour Interactive, but somebody's helping them with that game. I
Yeah,
can't remember.
I think someone relatively famous in the VR world.
Yeah. It's like a
Let's.
known company is helping them with that.
Yeah.
I'm looking it
I'm
up, and
gonna look
oh,
for that.
CoatSync. Yeah,
Okay.
they're the developers of Shadow Point. Speaking of the
Oh,
Quest, and speaking of a damn
yeah.
good Quest game, have you ever played Shadow Point?
No,
Oh, it's good. It's actually really good.
no. I have it on my wish list. I'm not getting those games for free, Anthony.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Well,
I don't have a shared account.
I'm not getting a lot for free anymore either. I mean,
Oh
I'm not
yeah, I
asking
know.
for them because I just don't want to like have to.
Yeah, I have the same thing. I just don't want to feel obligated, because once I asked a Polish developer for a key. I think the game is called Profundum. Have you heard about it? Like a steampunk game?
Yeah, yeah.
Let Yeah, and I asked them for a key. They gave it to me, and I never played it, so I
Oh
feel bad.
man, yeah, that happens.
So
Hey, quick
yeah,
question. So, Phantom Covert Ops, that was a big game earlier this month. Probably, I mean, well, it's probably the biggest game of this month, right? Or
true.
like last month. When did it come out? It was like last month on the
But
25th.
I think this game wasn't like a hit, like a smash hit.
But supposedly,
Was it?
wait a minute. Supposedly, the developer publisher in Dreams said that they were really happy with their sales. Right? Didn't like I heard some story about the CEO or something was saying the sales of this game was really good. So maybe it sold okay. I'm wondering, like, have you watched a lot of like YouTube shows and like different reviews and stuff? Like, what is the consensus about Phantom Covert Ops? Did you play it on either Quest or Rift?
No, I didn't. I have such a huge backlog of VR games that I basically stopped buying new ones. The most recent video game I played was actually Alex.
Okay. No, it makes sense, dude.
But
If you have a crazy backlog, it's like, why?
I do. I mean, sometimes I'm just buying those games just to support the dev. You know what I bought on the Steam sale? I bought Boiling Steel, for example.
Oh yeah, yeah. Boiling Steel is actually pretty decent, right?
Yeah, I heard from you, so that's why I did it. But I never even installed it, I think.
Oh man!
And I bought Groundhog Day too.
Yeah, that's the problem. Groundhog Day. What about Viveport? Have you ever done Viveport? Because when they had that incredible deal,
I missed that deal by one day.
Oh my god!
Oh man, yeah.
Because dude, I need to go back to Viveport actually, and
But you know what would happen? I know what would happen if
you would never use it.
Paid for this deal. I'd never.
Which is what I've done. I've never used it.
Yeah, I never do it. I don't even have Viveport on my PC right now. Did you ever?
No, I have it. I have
the
it.
Fear.
I think they
I
redid.
remember you saying it'll.
Yeah, I used to be scared to death of ever having Viveport because everybody would say that it would just always crash. But I think they completely redid it. Like I think they completely rewrote that program because I think after a while you just never heard anybody talking bad about it anymore. So I think they finally fixed it. And
I think Viveport is a great service, really. I mean, as much as HTC did wrong almost everything, this one thing they did right. Don't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's one reason why I'm worried about HTC. Like I'm worried about the health of that company because it's like I don't want to see them go down because if they go down, like Viveport is the best deal in town. Oh my God. And Sony, Valve, and Oculus, none of them are going to want to deliver that because it's almost like that's too good. You're giving too much,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
That's crazy. I hope that the developers are getting, their fair share on it. I hope. I mean, we don't know that, but let's hope. And speaking of Quest games, you know that Layers of Fear is also coming to the Quest?
It's already out. It's already came out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And Invisible Hours too.
Yeah, Invisible Hours.
Played.
Yeah, Invisible Hours is coming.
I want to.
Yeah, no.
So it's great. It's amazing that all those games are getting ports because it's a bit like with Quest. Sorry, like with Switch. Like Switch was supposed to be like a mobile console, right? And it got Witcher 3. This is crazy.
Yeah. So, does it play Witcher 3 very well?
It does. It was ported by a good developer, and this port is praised because it could have been a disaster, right?
Yeah.
You know what they added to Witcher 3 Switch port? You have cross save with PC, man. You can play on PC, then continue on Switch, and then continue on PC.
Wow,
this is crazy.
That is nice.
This is crazy. I mean, really, I'm amazing.
Yeah, dude. The Oculus Quest, like going back to that, it's a home run. Like it's a hit. Yeah. The only thing holding it back is the comfort and the availability. If they had unlimited availability and if they had good comfort, it'd be a completely different kind of a ball game. And actually, why don't we talk for a second about the idea of like a Quest 1.5 or a Quest 2.0?
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Which idea do you think is better? Because some people say, you know what, we should have new VR headsets every 18 months. Why wait? And then, like I always say, that it's too much of a console. You can't do that to these console people, man. That's not how you operate. It's got to be like a 3-year difference. But do you think we should get a Quest 2 next spring, a Quest 1.5, or maybe nothing? What do you think Oculus should do?
I think the VR market is developing at such a high pace that we are still in this very early phase. So we should get, everything that's, for example, Quest. I think Quest needs direly very much an improvement on comfort, right? So if they put out Quest 1.5, which has improved comfort, I mean, would that be bad?
No, I don't think it would be like, who's going to complain about that? It's basically, you know what it is though? It is the DS Lite and the DS Fat, right? That's the argument I always say. But
But they sold well.
Well, people that bought a DS Fat and then the DS Lite came out, somebody that bought a DS Fat like 2 months before the Lite came out, they're feeling pretty bad. But everybody else is like, what did they do? The people that had Fats, they bought a Lite and they sold their Fat, and that's what and that's what people will do with the Quest too. They'll sell it and buy a new one if they want to, or they'll keep their first Quest and buy a second one that is the new one.
We are getting a new phone every year basically, or even every 6 months. There's this company OnePlus. I don't know if you heard of them. It's a Chinese company. They have really decent phones, and for some time their phones were called flagship killers because they had flagship like specs at like half the price, but they finally succumbed to the trend and they started making flagships at the price of a flagship. But at some point their phones were had a very good price to performance ratio. I have one of those, and they put out a new phone every 6 months. They put out like OnePlus 6, let's say in May, and then in December they would put out OnePlus 6T or something, and then 6 months later OnePlus 7. 6 months later OnePlus 7T.
Here's the thing.
People buy them.
Yeah, but phones, the thing about a phone is the phone goes in your pocket, man. It's right there with your car keys. It's with your wallet. Those are the most important things in your world. For me, though, personally, I'm not that, like, I have my phone and I bring it with me and I like to check things, but sometimes I can actually spend an entire weekend and leave my phone in my room somewhere and not even F with it for an entire weekend. But I'm a rare person like that. Most people, you got to have your phone with you constantly, always, and your car keys and your wallet. And that's different. People don't carry a VR headset with their car keys in their wallet. So I think the analogy just doesn't work about buying a new headset every year.
What I meant is not even about buying, because I'm sure not all people. What I'm saying is that manufacturers put out new phones every year, but people don't go crazy. They don't say, "Why do you do this? Don't do this." They just keep their old phone. If they can keep their old phone still, so that's the same thing can happen here, right?
Well,
if you're happy with your Quest, just keep it.
Okay, but what about the people that, like a family that just bought a Quest, and then all of a sudden, bam, there's a freaking Quest 2, and they're like, we paid all this money for the Quest, and now there's a Quest 2. Aren't they going to feel a little bit crunchy about that?
This will always happen. You cannot prevent it. But we have so many rumors right now, right? We've heard about this Quest for months. So if someone is interested, that person should do some research. If you want to buy something, just go into the internet and type this name and then.
But wait, aren't they trying to sell this thing to like regular average Joe Blow, like not hardcore gamers? Facebook wants mainstream. They want just regular people. Regular people don't have time to search all kinds of websites.
These people won't even know Quest 2 came out.
That's funny. That's funny. But okay, wait a minute. Let me ask you this. So PlayStation 5 is coming out this Christmas, right?
Yeah.
Are PlayStation 4 owners going to be like holding up picket signs in the street saying, this is bullshit, this is bullshit? Are they going to do that?
No, they're saying, give it to me now.
I know, but why aren't they mad?
Because I think they're not mad because PlayStation 4 came out in 2013, right?
Yeah, exactly. They got plenty of years, man. But let me tell you, okay, PlayStation 5 comes out this year. So 2022, PlayStation 6, man.
Of course not. I know.
I mean, people would be pissed.
True.
This
But
is a console. You can't like I don't think you can just like come out with like if you
but what about PlayStation 4 Pro? Remember?
yeah, but that's backwards compatible. Like all the games
And
just
the
kind
next
of
Quest
run.
will be backward compatible too, you know?
I know,
I'm
but then
sure.
you're creating a developer's headache. Like they got to think how many people have the old Quest? How many people have they're like, "Oh, 3.9 million people have the old Quest and only 400,000 have the new Quest." Oh, so they're going to
But
be
they already have to develop for PC, for PSVR, and for Quest, so they already have this headache, right?
Yeah, but you're exasperate. Does Facebook want to create that own headache for themselves because they're the
But
ones doing it?
but look at what they can do. They can, for example, make a Quest that will be very similar, but the only difference will be that it has 90 frames per second, right? So all you have to do
Well, that's a
is
Quest
just
1.5. We're talking about a
yeah
1.5 now. If it's a 1.5, in fact, honestly, not having a 1.5 makes no sense whatsoever. They should have a 1.5. This is a home run. They've hit an absolute home run. The Snapdragon stays the same, all right? The Snapdragon stays the same. They hit a home run, but they can improve other things. They can improve the cameras because if they improve the cameras and improve the hand tracking a little bit, it does splinter the market a
yeah
little bit from a hand tracking standpoint, but I think people with the original Quest, their hand tracking will work good enough if they have a really, like if they have an open window and light
yeah
is coming in, their hand tracking will work. People with Quest 1.5, their hand tracking is going to work real good. And then also like the Quest 1.5 would have improved comfort and it
oh
would
yeah
have
audio.
HDMI. It would have a mini HDMI in, so now you don't have to use a link. You can actually get full bandwidth from your
Yeah,
PC
or
connection.
wireless something. You know, I wanted to talk about that earlier. Virtual desktop. I'm amazed how well it works. You know,
Yeah, it does work
it's
pretty
a.
incredible.
I was
Do you have the right kind of router for it?
yeah, I do. I have a router from my cable company, which is quite good. Turned out, it has 5 gigahertz band. You know, so I'm getting 20 milliseconds. You know, according to Virtual Desktop, I'm getting 20 milliseconds delay. You know, and it works so good. I was for longest time I thought that it cannot work. You know, there are laws of physics that prevent it, and people were raving about it. I thought, well, you just don't see lag. You're just, you know, you don't see the lag, but I will do it. And then one guy who is really into VR, whom I respect, the same guy that actually, you know, I visited and got that video card and his show. So he told me it's great, and then it finally tipped me over, and I tried it, and I played Rick and Morty virtual reality on that, and you know, it has a lot of hand interactions, right? It's like a work simulator in a way because the same developer.
Yeah.
And it worked great. I was shocked how well it works, and really.
Yeah, no, I've tried it. Well, I've tried it a couple of times with virtual desktop, and it worked good. I was pretty
So
amazed.
Oculus 1.5 should have some better solution, native solution for, you know, for wireless, like a dongle or something. And then they could even go down with latency. I think Carmack was talking about it, right?
If it could
Carmack can
improve, what if it could improve casting? Like, what if they put some special thing in it
Yeah.
that helps it cast it to a phone or a tablet?
You know what? I have a story because I tried casting to Facebook. I tried casting Orica, and you know, I noticed that while casting, the graphics was choppy. It would like stutter every few seconds because poor Quest couldn't manage streaming, you know, and playing the game. So and the video quality was horrible. It's like 4080p, 30 frames per second, horribly pixelated. The audio quality was just abysmal, and the game chugged, you know, and lagged when you try to do it. So it makes no point in streaming using the built-in tools. So they need to update that, you know.
Yeah.
And you know what I think Quest 2 could do apart from comfort? Like they could get a bit better Snapdragon, but wait, don't crucify me. And 90 frames per second. So the power from the additional power from the better Snapdragon will be fully consumed by 90 frames per second, and developers could just make exact same games. The only difference would be that it would be 90 frames per second on the new Quest and 72 on the
Hey,
old
what
one.
about
That
this
would be
though?
it.
What about this? What if they went with a high-end Snapdragon, but now games are 144 hertz on a new Quest? No.
I think then we come back to what I said, that I don't see difference. I think much people don't see a difference,
With the 144.
Really?
Have you ever tried
Yeah.
Space Pirate Trainer though?
I don't remember. I remember that you said that there was a huge difference in that.
Yeah,
right?
Space Pirate Trainer, you goddamn dude. You could, because
Okay.
the way those things are moving and they're constantly shooting lasers
True.
at you.
Okay.
Like you really, it's so butter. It is so butter
I
smooth.
can agree, but the hardware requirements for 144 frames are so disproportionately high. You know what I mean?
It's not worth
You
it.
need
It's
so
not
much
worth
more
it.
oomph.
Yeah.
Exactly from that perspective. It's a bit like 4K. 4K looks great, but it requires 2080 Ti, $1,000 video card to play. So it's just not worth
So
it.
what's your thoughts
But
on like the Valve Index though? Like your PC VR headset. Do you feel like
yeah.
Do you feel like the Valve Index has lived up to like your dreams and stuff, or do you feel like there still is like you still don't have the dream VR headset that you really want to have?
Oh, I think we are years away from that. But but I must tell you that either you have a defective index, or you are incredibly sensitive to glare, because for me glare is absolutely not a problem in in index. I cannot say that I see it and I accepted it. I just don't see it almost at all. I don't know why. It's really crazy. Every time you say, glare is bad in index, I say, what what is he talking about? Really?
It
So
depends
I
on the
really,
game though. Like Half-Life Alyx, see when Half-Life Alyx, you see no glare anywhere because guess
Okay.
what? Valve knows their headset. And
Yeah.
they know their
Yeah.
headset's shortcomings. But I guess I'll have to try to figure out what game like is really bad with the glare and then tell you to try to sample. But
Maybe.
the glare is something, it's not God rays. That I'm not talking about
know.
God rays. The glare
I know.
is swinging. It swings around like the bottom of the lenses. It like swings
Yes.
around.
I don't know. Maybe my brain just filtered it out. Maybe it's psychology. Maybe if you just don't focus on it, don't think about it,
Well,
and it
eventually,
somehow goes away.
eventually I forget about it. Eventually, I'll forget about it. I mean, eventually you're playing like even Screen Door. You can play a PlayStation VR game and you'll eventually forget about it.
Actually, PlayStation VR doesn't have much screen door. They have this film, this like anti-SD, film on it.
Do you play PlayStation VR?
I played Iron Man VR demo recently.
Oh, okay.
So I sometimes do. I bought it very cheap. The only way I played the exclusive. I played Blood and Truth. I played Astrobot.
Oh, okay,
I played
okay.
Resident Evil VR 7.
So you
And
played
it was
like
an
the
amazing
main,
experience.
the big bangers, the
Yeah,
best
exactly.
PSVR game. Did you play Farpoint though? Because that is
Yes.
the best
like it.
single.
Oh, I played
PlayStation.
it with a gun.
Yeah.
I had the gun borrowed from a friend, and I finished it with a gun. And I know some people really hate this game. They say it's like a generic shooter. It's like nothing, nothing big. But I loved it.
Yeah, no.
But the tracking in it was horrible. My gun would get sort of mistracked, and it would be, it would show in game in a different direction than I held it.
Yeah,
And
sometimes you have to shake it or whatever. And
Yeah, I heard about this shake.
Yeah.
If it's a great tip. If I didn't get it, I would be so frustrated. So I would just shake it vehemently.
it's annoying. It's
No,
annoying. Because think
Yeah.
about that controller though. Think if we had that
Yeah.
controller for like if there was the Oculus version of that controller.
Yeah,
It's called
Onward.
the Oculus Murder
remember.
Death Kill. No. The MDK.
There are guns for PC, but they are extremely expensive. It's crazy.
No, but we need something where it's like a freaking standard. It's got to be like
Yeah,
a Valve
I
gun
agree.
or an Oculus gun. And what it should be is it should be a thing where you hold it like this, but it snaps apart and turns into two pistols. All right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, totally.
together and then pop and you have two pistols. But yeah, I can't. I
Yeah.
don't. The gun is pretty fun. So here's what I want to do. I want to ask you a little bit about PlayStation 5 because you have a PlayStation VR. For some reason, I thought you didn't have a PlayStation VR at all. And I
do.
thought you were like just like somebody that didn't know anything about PlayStation VR very much.
Oh man.
So I don't know why.
No,
I don't know why.
almost offended.
It's a false impression, right? But wait.
I think I have actually. I think I have the like very. I think I have a nice, assortment of headsets because I have Quest, I have Index, and I have PSVR. What else do you need?
Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. But what I wanted to ask you about is this whole PlayStation 5 thing, right? Because, like, what are they really going to do here, man? So, this Christmas, like, PlayStation 5 is coming out this Christmas, right? Can you believe that we're already at July 17th and we literally know diddly squat about what the regular PlayStation VR could possibly do with PlayStation 5, whether or not there's going to be a PlayStation 5 game that that is a VR game that you can only run on PlayStation 5. Like if you got I got a PlayStation 4 Pro. Is there going to be a game that I'm boned?
I don't think so. But you know what Sony already they already promised. I can quote from their blog. They said, with all the amazing games in PS4's catalog, which I think must include PSVR games, right? We've devoted significant efforts to enable our fans to play their favorites on PS5. We believe that the overwhelming majority of the 4,000 plus PS4 titles will be playable on PS5. We're expecting backward compatible titles will run at a boosted frequency on PS5 so that they can benefit from higher or more stable frame rates and potentially higher resolutions. Super sampling, baby.
Yeah, you know what some
So-
people are saying too is that some of those original PlayStation VR games can be slightly reworked to run at a native 120 hertz on
Yeah,
the original
exactly.
PlayStation VR. Do you think that's really possible? Because wait a minute, there's two games on PlayStation VR that supposedly run natively at 120 hertz. One of them is Chorix, and the other one is Polybius. I've played Polybius on PlayStation VR, and if it's 120 hertz, I didn't notice a difference.
Yeah, you know when you can see when you can see the 60 frames in the PS4. If you, it's a bit like reprojection on Index or Vive. If you
Moving your hands.
look at
quick.
if you look at an object, it gets split, right? You can see like it's like a second object behind it lagging. It's like, yeah, exactly. And this is it. And maybe this will disappear. But I am really, well, maybe I'll be proved wrong. But I'm really optimistic about PS5 because, and I think I will buy it. But
Wait,
I hate how it
wait a
looks.
minute. You're gonna buy a PlayStation 5 because, dude, that's gonna be like $600.
It won't. It'll be 500 bucks.
Okay, 500
max.
bucks. Your tax is going to take you to 600. Do you guys have, how much tax would you pay? First of all, what's 500 in your currency, and what is it going to cost in your country? Do you guys get screwed because everything that comes to America, like in America, we're going to get it for 500. Are you going to have to pay like 800 American practically?
No, no, we won't. Actually, Poland is in the European Union. We don't have euro yet. We have Polish zloty, which suffered a bit because of the COVID pandemic. It got weakened. But we are in the European Union, so even if prices in Poland were higher, you can always order from all other European countries, like Germany, for example. We have access to Amazon, to British and German Amazon.
Do you have to pay an extra tax though if you like order it from Germany?
No, the tax. I mean, we have high taxes. I won't deny that, but all our taxes are already included.
Oh.
Like we have this VAT, value added tax, but it's never added like at the end. It's always included in the price already, and we have a high VAT. We have 23%, which is a lot, but all the manufacturers have to already include it in the price. So, for example, imagine this: we have the same price for Oculus games on the store, like you, in dollars, right? But this already includes 23% tax. So we don't pay a cent over.
That's weird.
That's actually weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird because we have prices in dollars.
It's
really
probably
weird.
more complicated for them to screw with it, so they just like
eat it. They
tough
just
it.
eat it.
Yeah, they eat it.
Yeah. So I think PS5 will not cost more than
Okay,
$500,
but
which would be
okay,
equivalent
wait a
to
minute.
500 euros.
Wait a minute. 500 or 600, like we're splitting hairs here. Okay, you got lucky. Somebody
I'm a
gave you,
dink.
wait a
I'm a
minute.
dink.
Somebody gave you a 2080 Ti. But what about me, man? I can't spend 500 on a PlayStation 5 when I need to put that towards a future video card.
Yeah, but you can sell your old PlayStation, right? And then you'll have like
For
at
what, like
least 100.
200 bucks or something if I'm
Well,
lucky?
then you'll have $300
Uh,
to pay, right? And also, you don't have to do it immediately on release, right? You can just wait for
But
some.
will there be something that would, like, so you don't think they're going to have Astrobot 2, Farpoint 2? Like, wait a minute, what has Impulse Gear, the developer of Farpoint, like that game came out a long time ago. What
Yeah,
has that
I know.
developer been doing all this time? Because they haven't made a flat game yet. Maybe
Yes.
Farpoint 2 is PlayStation 5 bound.
Yes, but I would like to get excited for PSVR 2 games, but we know nothing about PSVR 2, and
Well,
also Sony
PSVR
was.
2 is a whole different
Yeah,
ball game.
I
I'm not even
know, I
talking
know,
about
I
that.
know.
I'm saying, is there going to be a PlayStation 5 game this Christmas? I'm going to use the old ass PlayStation VR that we
Hmm.
got right now, but it's going to be running at 120 frames. It's going to be super
Super
sampled
sample.
up the
Yeah.
yin yang, and it might look pretty freaking amazing. Maybe, I don't know.
I think I think if that game was to happen, they would already reveal it. But who knows? Maybe they're just waiting for for a big surprise. I don't know.
Well, they haven't said anything yet, so they haven't revealed
Yes,
anything yet.
that's
So
worrying. That's worrying. But I'm buying PS5 because PS5 is going to be supposedly a very powerful console.
do you
So
play a lot
I
of
think they're.
flat? Like you're gonna be
Yeah.
cheating on us
Oh
VR
man,
veterans, and you're gonna be playing some
I want to
flat.
talk about that. I I actually play more flat games than VR
Oh
games,
my
sadly. And
god.
but you know why? Because there are really so
Ladies and
many
gentlemen, I'm sorry,
amazing.
I'm canceling this show.
Yeah, bye Anthony. No, like The Last of Us 2. I finished it recently. You should see it, at least the movies or something, because this game looks so well. I mean, it has crazy production values. It has crazy
Yeah, a
animation, motion
movie
capture.
exactly. That so
But
the last flat game I played was Horizon Zero Dawn. And that's a
oh yeah.
beautiful looking game. And let me tell you, I was playing it for. You know what I should do? Actually, here's what I should do. I should live stream me playing like one of these games you're talking about. Like I'll go
Okay.
rent it at like Redbox or something, and I should
Hmm.
live stream me playing a flat game because I can tell you exactly how it's going to go. First couple hours, I'm going to be like, "Oh, this is awesome! Why did I ever quit flat gaming? This is
Hmm.
awesome!" And then about 4 hours in, I'm going to be like, "This fucking sucks, man! I want to be in the
Okay.
game. F this! I'm out of here."
I really can't. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, I'm glad that VR didn't spoil flat games for me, because I know people who just they cannot play flat games anymore. They only play VR, and I understand that totally. But I
But you're a
still
YouTuber
find
now. You're a VR YouTuber. You've got a commitment. No.
uh, I, I don't. I actually, lots of listeners of my podcast also don't play VR a lot, so we also cover, normal flat games. So
How
like
do
I'm
you?
playing.
But what about just finding the time to play in general? Like how often do you get to play these games, and then you're dividing it between flat and VR?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have kids, at least. So
Oh, that's the
that's
key. No kids.
yeah,
What
yeah.
about like TV shows and stuff? You just don't bother with that.
I mean, I watch them, but I only watch them with my wife, like
Okay.
before we go to sleep or something.
Yeah.
So I never watch shows by myself.
Do you
I
sleep 8
almost
hours a night?
I try to sleep like 6 to 7 hours, like
Okay, you're
because
cheating
I
into
think
your sleep a little bit.
yes, I do, because otherwise it's impossible. I think people who have lots of times for games, some of them sleep 3 or 4 hours
Oh my God, that's
a
not
night. That
good.
can
That
be,
is not
yeah,
good.
it's not. It'll kill you.
Yeah,
No,
sleep is
I'm
huge.
sure. Yes, sleep is crucial. I'm trying to get like 6 to 7, hours of sleep at least. Not today because I had to wake up early, but normally I do.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get.
So
I gotta be up at. I gotta wake up tomorrow at like 6 a.m. So it's 11:25
oh,
right now. So yeah, I won't get a lot of sleep tonight, but it's all right. We're having fun. Let's see. So actually, wait. I'm trying to think what else I want to talk. So what about like reverb? Reverb,
oh
man. What
yeah.
about the reverb, bro? So like when you first saw the reverb, what did you think about the first reverb?
I heard bad things. It was they botched the launch. Remember, they had to do a recall, right? It didn't have IPD adjustment, so that's immediately no for me. I mean, I'm not, I don't have such a huge IPD like you, Anthony,
What
but
is your IPD? Do
I
you
still
know?
think 66.
Oh, that's
So it's
nice.
like,
That's nice.
it's cool, it's okay. But, I'm not sold on WMR. It had only two cameras, It had it's very small FOV, and you could see the
Yeah, people talked
the
about, and
borders.
then also
Like, what the heck?
some of the screens had flickering problems, and supposedly the cords were gigantic, thick, and heavy, and they said you'd
And
never want to
short.
play Beat Saber in it. Yeah, short
Yeah, and it
cords.
was short, and also there was Mura.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
they, even HP admitted, when they are advertising G2, they're saying we don't have Mura anymore. So, but G1 I think was like, their first attempt. So
Okay, so what about
it's
this one?
only
You got a valve index. So you're happy with your valve index, though. You don't have
yeah,
the glare problem that I got.
yeah,
But is there anything about the valve like? Do you feel like the resolution of the valve index and the FOV
yeah.
of the valve index? Do you feel that it has gone far enough for like this $1,000 thing that you bought,
No, I mean the FOV is nice. The FOV is
especially
really
in
really cool.
Audica?
Yeah. But you know what? It doesn't help as much as I thought it will. When I switched to Quest, I could play it well. But I think it may be because I already memorized, all the all the targets. But coming back to G2 and Index, I think Index. I mean, G2 will have smaller FOV than Valve Index, but it will have higher resolution. And the only thing that really makes G2 stand out is the resolution. The resolution on it is like crazy. Have you seen
It's
the
not
latest
that.
video
It's
by Sebastian?
2880 by
It is,
2880, or no, 21
but it makes 60
2160.
by
Yeah, yeah.
2160. Yes, but have you seen the through the lens video by
Do you
by
really think
MRTV?
that tells you anything? Those through the lens videos, like I don't know. I've heard like hasn't like Ben Lang and people talked about it and said that you can basically throw that stuff away, that it doesn't give you any
Well,
idea.
it doesn't. Well, I think it doesn't give you the same impression that you would when you put it on. But if you compare two,
Side by
pictures from two
side, yeah,
headsets in the same conditions,
yeah,
it can tell you something.
yeah.
And also, I'm not talking only about those TTL videos, but I'm talking about impressions. Like Sebastian said that for him this is the recommended headset now. He was always recommending Index so far,
Yeah, but
and now he said,
okay, but you got to understand though, Hewlett Packard sent him a freaking
yeah,
Reverb G2.
but
Like I'm
he
not
also,
saying Sebastian doesn't love the headset. I'm sure he does. But imagine if they sent me this headset like way
okay,
ahead of every other YouTuber. I could do a
I
private
know.
effing review and shit. Like even if I was going to talk bad about anything, do you think I would? So I don't know, we kind of
Yeah, I know. I cannot trust 2080 Ti now, because I got it from
yeah,
Nvidia.
I can never
Yeah, I know
trust
what
you
you.
when you talk about Nvidia now.
No, no. I mean, I cannot trust, Nvidia 2080 Ti card. So, but you know what? First of all, I think he got in. I think he got Cosmos, didn't he? And he trashed it. Didn't he get Pimax? And he got in this huge row with with
But did he
Survivor.
get him
Remember?
sent like way ahead of it? But doesn't he have this like ahead of everybody else? Like, does anybody
I think
have
he got.
this?
Maybe. Yeah, you're right. But you know what? This has the same resolution as the previous Reverb,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
The resolution, I mean.
2160 by
And
2160. Yeah.
yeah, and already people were really praising it, especially the simmers. And I know one guy who has it, or two maybe, and people who have it say that once you see this resolution, there's no coming back. So I believe them. I think this is the next
Yeah,
step. It
no,
sounds,
dude, resolution kills. Like
yeah,
resolution is an important freaking thing. Like you can say with the Valve Index, there is still some screen door. Like you can look and you can
I
find
don't see it,
screen
but I
door.
believe you.
No, there
I
is a
don't see
little
it.
bit of screen door, right?
Yeah.
This would kill screen door dead. But you know what I
Yeah.
really want, to be totally honest, though, is member the Qualcomm prototypes, baby.
Oh.
2880 by
Yeah.
2880. That's an even bigger jump. Like, I want us to get to a new level. And that's one of the things I'm hoping with this Oculus thing. So that article said a new Oculus headset. Just imagine, though, we've all considered that Oculus has basically kicked PC VR gaming to the curb. Oculus doesn't care about us anymore. It's all Quest all the time. But maybe we're just assuming that, and maybe that's not the actual reality. Maybe we're going to get a legitimate Oculus Rift 2.0, a real Rift 2.0. Maybe it's not quite half dome stuff with varifocal lenses and all that, but maybe it has some major features. Is there any chance, because Oculus Connect 7 is going to happen virtually? We've had no announcements, no Assassin's Creed VRs, no Splinter Cell VRs. We've had no announcements. Do you think something big like that could happen? And because they're supposedly manufacturing something right now, do you think it could come this Christmas, or do you think it would be like a spring type of thing?
Well, I mean, considering that Rift S didn't even get hand tracking, then I'm really pessimistic. I think they focused totally on Quest. And if we ever get anything on the desktop, it will be the Quest, working with the desktop by a cable or wireless. I'm pessimistic. I mean, there's nothing that Facebook has done in the past few months after releasing Rift S that would tell me that they are interested in investing in it.
Okay, but what about this? We all think that they don't give a damn, right? Like, I mean, that's the narrative. The narrative is they don't care about PCVR. They can't wait to get away from PCVR. And people primarily say that part of it is they're on someone else's operating system. They don't have control of that. Where on the Quest, it's someone else's operating system, but they're working on an operating system for future headsets at some point. So people think there's all the reason in the world to get away from the PC. But we have to remember this. Think of all the investments they've made in that catalog of PC VR games. That's kind of difficult to just walk away from that. Now doing research and development for a brand new headset and going all out on a brand new headset might be not super exciting for them either, but man, they've got this stable, they've got Asgards, they've got all these games that they've had, and we got to imagine there's got to be a few more announcements coming. Maybe that's a reason for them to continue to create new VR headsets for PC VR. Because we got a 1.5. The Rift S is a 1.5. We never did get a true replacement for CV1.
Yes. Well, maybe Abrush will do something. They showed all those prototypes. So, I mean, I would love them to put out a better headset, really. Because I think Rift S was a bit underwhelming. It was a downgrade, and it lost IPD adjustment, it lost headphones, it lost 10 frames, it lost OLED, right? So we deserve a better Rift. We deserve a Rift 2.0. I agree with you totally on that. But will we ever get it? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's a dream. We're dreaming a little dream basically when it comes to that.
But you know what? But I'm really excited about HP Reverb G2 because they are cooperating with Valve, right? They have Valve's audio, which is the best the best one
It
ever,
is.
right?
It is that is a solution like a mofo. Aren't
Exactly.
you amazed at
Exactly.
how like just
I
those little
am.
things can generate so much noise and good noise?
Yeah. Bass, yeah, and bass, and like directional audio too. So I think they're also using Valve's lenses, not the ones in Index, but I think they're also using the Valve's lenses. They changed everything. They changed the screens. The screens are different. They changed the optics, right? The lenses. They changed audio.
But you're
Uh,
shrinking your FOV though, and you're going back to Windows mixed reality controllers.
no, yes, this is the problem. But I mean, you mean shrinking compared to Valve Index, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, true. But I think it's still higher than the previous one, and I think it's higher than Quest, than Rift, than PSVR. So it's not as good
No,
as
they have a fake.
Index.
Their FOV was
Yeah, I
fake the
know.
last time. Like
I
they
know.
inflated it. So
I
it's
know.
probably. I mean, the screens are the same, right? So it's like,
I mean, I think they're different,
yeah, no, they're
you
a little
know?
bit different. They're because
They're different. So it's really, we don't know. The only thing we can rely on is, MRTV's review. And I think while what you say is true that he got it from HP, so he cannot be too critical, he also has his viewers which support him, which fund him. So he has to keep, maintain a balance between, where his allegiances lie. So I think
I'm not. Yeah,
he would
I'm
not.
not saying he's like lying out of his ear. But here's the
uh,
thing, man. It's like when someone gives you something. Like I'll be completely honest about this myself when it comes to like game reviews and stuff. When someone gives you something, you try to be completely objective. Like you don't want to think about that, and you just want to judge it on what it is. But the problem is, it's like our subconscious mind in the background.
Yeah.
We know they gave us something, and it's a human nature thing, man. I don't think anybody's being evil at all, and I don't think they're
Yeah. Yeah.
trying to do anything wrong. But I think it's just hard. Like someone gives you something. Like I got like VR cover stuff, and I might like on a subconscious level, I might like go a little bit out of my way to think it's a little bit better than it really is just because they happen to have given it to me. Where if I just went and bought it with my own damn money, then maybe I'm a little bit more hypercritical the other direction because I like really want to get something for my money and I'm expecting to get something for my money. So sometimes you can go the opposite way if you buy it with your own money.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's like a bias that you're not even conscious of. But there are some parameters that cannot be, you know, misjudged. Like FOV is quite an objective measure, and then if he said it's bigger and then people would get it and it would turn out it's not, he would be, there would be some repercussions, and
Yeah.
his trustworthiness and would be, compromised. So I think if he says that the FOV is good and better than the previous one, I'm
Oh,
inclined to believe him.
has he said that? Because I haven't seen his videos yet on. Okay.
Yeah, it's officially 114 that FOV, and he said that it's good. It's not as good as Valve, as Index, but it's better.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it would be that
So
would be a wonderful headset to have for any seated game.
yeah,
Where like the Windows mixed reality controllers aren't going to be a major factor in any kind of a seated game, and I mean, I don't know. I mean, do you think you could get one of those and it could be your daily driver over the Valve Index, or do you think you
no,
would? In some
no.
ways, maybe it would be.
You know what? If I didn't have Index, then sure. But I already have it, and I don't want to sell it because I like it, and I don't want to buy a fourth headset. It's gonna cost 600. It's gonna cost almost, I think, $600, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
So it
it's a good
doesn't
price.
tempt you. So you're saying like
No.
if this was like 299, you'd probably buy one, right?
Probably. And I'm a bit disappointed about the controls, because you know what they didn't even do? They didn't even put the capacitive sensors on the buttons, You know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
touch. The touch is so good at faking that it can read where your fingers are, right? Almost like Valve Index, because it can sense if you're touching the buttons. it has actually 3 states, right? If you are not touching the button at all, so your finger is away from the button, your finger is rested on the button, but it's not pressing it in, and your finger is pressing the button. It can sense the touch controller and index knuckles, they can sense this. And those controllers by VMR cannot.
Here's my question. Wait a minute. Is this Windows Mixed Reality 2.0, or is this just like HP going a little bit beyond what Windows Mixed Reality 1.0 is with the approval of Microsoft? Because I've heard 2 different stories about this. Like, if I thought this was really Windows Mixed Reality 2.0, I would have thought that Microsoft would have said something about this somewhere, and they would have officially unveiled it, and I would have expected the controllers to be like 2.0 controllers. And so what do you think about that? Because I've heard different stories on that.
I think you have to, I think only Microsoft and HP know that. But what's weird about those cameras? Have you seen the position of those 2 cameras?
What about Sebastian? Did he say anything about that? Like,
I don't think so.
That's my number one question for him.
They must have. Is it really that important? I mean, they must have cooperated with Microsoft. They wouldn't be able to add 2 additional cameras, which provide additional tracking data, without Microsoft knowing about it, because you have to fuse, right, all those data, right? So
engineers from Microsoft would had to have worked with them and approved that and like verify that it didn't break anything. And absolutely. But
have you seen the position of the camera? Sorry for interrupting, but those 2 additional cameras are in really weird place. They're completely on the sides. So how does that work? I don't know.
I don't know. But so when does that thing come out? Like late September or something like that?
Late September, yeah. You can already pre-order it in Europe. Actually, there's like a German and UK store where you can pre-order it. I won't do it, but I think one of the people I know will probably do it. And, like for simmers, it's a perfect headset,
I mean, it's a like people get antsy, man. People want new stuff. People want a new toy every year. Like some people, especially we are these like VR people, dude, and we're in a bad hobby. It's like we're collecting like tarantulas or something, or like wild birds. It could have been worse. Like these things are expensive, man.
I think there are more expensive hobbies like cars or photography, cars. I think there are lots of more expensive hobbies. Really,
that's true.
We're not that bad.
But these prices, like we still we're tempted by these headsets. There's all these things. Like think of all the different things that are coming out. PlayStation 5 is coming out. If you didn't have a 2080 Ti, you might have been looking for something like that.
But about that. This year, at the end of the year, there should be 2 new cards from NVIDIA and from AMD, and they supposedly will be very powerful, and there will be an actual competition between them. So maybe finally the cards will be cheaper.
Will this be the first time in how many years has it been since AMD has had a legit card to go head to head? Now, I know every once in a while AMD has had a card where for the money it was better than the NVIDIA card that was in the similar money range. Every once in a while they'll have something like that. But when have they ever had the freaking banger where they were the 2080 Ti? Like, when has that ever happened? How long has it been?
Long. I don't remember. A very long time ago.
Yeah, that's so true. It's like it's so hard to bet on them, man. How much do you think these NVIDIA cards are going to go for? The NVIDIA ones.
It all depends. It all also depends on what what AMD will show, because AMD GPUs are inside both consoles. And the Xbox
they've always done that though. AMD runs console land. And the reason why is because they do the CPUs too, so they can get a combo. They get that combo, the motherboard.
Yeah, but it's only since 2013. It's not that long. because Xbox 360, PS3 had NVIDIA card in it,
Yeah, yeah. But PS3,
So
they learned from that NVIDIA card
yeah,
because
yeah,
they paid big money for that card and had to continue to
yeah,
pay big money for that card. That's why NVIDIA,
probably.
it's kind of crazy though that NVIDIA has done as well as they've done, and they're such incredible leaders in the field, and yet they have no penetration in the console gaming space at
Because
all.
no one can afford,
Yeah.
their GPUs.
But you would think they would
Well,
deliberately try to create a special GPU that'd be like, they're gonna make 80 million PlayStation 5s over the next however many years, right? You would think Nvidia would want that money one way or another, somehow to no, we'll cook you up something nice and special. But I think what it really is AMD has that CPU as well. And
yeah,
so they can go
exactly.
to them and they get a combo deal. That's basically the bottom line there.
Also, I think it's in NVIDIA's interest for AMD to exist and not go bankrupt, because then they would have a monopoly, and then regulatory agencies would get interested in them. Uh,
True,
you
true.
know,
That as well.
so it's better to have a weak competitor than no competitor at all. So I think they ignored on purpose the console market and left it to AMD, because
It's like
I
McDonald's
think
and
AM
Burger King, or
yeah.
like Taco Bell and Del Taco. They got a weak ass competitor that's there.
Yeah, and I think AMD was on the verge of bankruptcy, and they were saved by those console deals, because they had horrible CPUs that no one wanted to buy, and then Microsoft and Sony bought them, And I really think that this year we'll get finally some competition in the GPU market. And Turing had RTX, right? And it was really very expensive, so not many people bought it. So I think Nvidia learned a lesson that they cannot, that if they overdo it on the prices, then people will stop buying because it's too much. So hopefully we'll get some more competition back.
Yeah, I mean,
you
we
know
definitely need some new cards now that we're getting to these higher
yeah,
resolutions, and also to make way for higher resolution headsets. But going back to the headsets, here's a question. I like to pose this question to everybody. Of course, it's going to lead to another even more important question. But the first question is VR hardware. Well, actually, you've already answered this, right? You're in my camp. VR hardware has not hit a baseline. We got a long ways to
oh
go. Is
no,
that kind of your belief?
absolutely,
Isn't it
I agree.
isn't it amazing though that there's other people that like it's fine, it's perfectly fine. Like Eric for president, we're good, we're
Yeah,
solid, right? Like some people feel like with the Rift S, with the Quest, with the Valve Index, it's good. We're good, man. It's not about the hardware anymore. It's about the games. So you're saying no, this hardware is still kind of holding back the overall industry. And of course, what
yes.
that does is that leads to the most important question of all, which,
Oh,
yeah,
I waited for that.
yeah, here you go, man. It's what is the key feature? Like, what is the critical feature? Now, we want all of these things. Like, I
Of
want
course.
all of them. But if you couldn't have all of them, what if you could only have a couple of them? First of all, what if you could only have one of these puppies? I mean, wireless. Some
Yeah, I
people
think
say, fuck it, give me wireless, which is almost like it's kind of almost unfortunate that they have to waste the most wanted thing on wireless because, like, you want wireless to come along with something else. But wireless
yeah.
is an option. A lot of people say comfort and weight. I've had a lot of people say, you know what? The bottom line is this shit is never going to happen until these things get comfortable. So I've had some people say that. Resolution, field of view, full body tracking, and I'm talking like legit full body tracking, like some type of thing externally or maybe built in the headset itself. It's analyzing your skeletal frame. Then there's like AR pass through. which, you know, we can laugh about it, but what if a VR headset came out tomorrow that could do everything that a HoloLens and a Magic Leap 1 could do and actually do it even better because it would have a way bigger field of view? What if it had like really crystal clear cameras and you could walk around your house a little bit, you could look at the wall and all of a sudden there's things coming out of the wall, you know, and it did some Magic Leap stuff. I think a lot of people might not really give that much thought, but that's there. You got advanced avatars. You know, they're working on all this like body avatar stuff. Eventually, they're going to bake that into something. And I think when they combine that with like Horizons, dude, I actually think that the killer app for VR, in fact, actually, you know what? I'm going to show you one other thing. I'm going to show you a sneak peek into what I think is the real key here. When it comes to if you want to play in the VR AR standalone game. Okay, this is another topic I want to talk about, but you know what? F it, I'm going to talk about it right now. So if you want to get into the AR or VR game, I think there's 5 critical things when you want to get into the standalone AR or VR game. Number 1 is an app store. Now, what I mean by this is just a store, like Oculus Store, Steam, PSN, PlayStation, you know, the PSN store, you got Steam, you got Oculus store, Apple, of course, has their store. Basically, what I mean is you have your own effing store, right? The second biggest thing is Holo Presence. And what I mean by Holo Presence is like, it's going to be like video calls. Like you've seen somebody, this is like Zoom. Zoom on a new level is going to be putting people into your room so grandma can sit in that chair and it really looks like grandma and it really looks like she's there. And if she's using a VR headset, she's seeing you and it really looks like you're there. And your mouth is moving and it looks like grandma. It's like 90% of grandma. Holo Presence, I think, is the freaking killer app, man. And that, of course, combines with the metaverse. And then eventually, when we're talking about standalone, eventually, you want to have an internally designed operating system. You want to own the entire stack. This is what Apple is going to have with all of their shit. They're going to have an app store. They're going to have a Holo Presence. They're going to have a metaverse. They're going to have an internally designed operating system. They're also going to have internally developed GPU, CPU. Apple has the whole game. They're the only ones that have the whole game. Now, Facebook is going to have an internally designed operating system, but they're going to go outside. They're probably going to go to Qualcomm to get their GPU, CPU combo, but they are creating a metaverse, and Facebook, of all the companies out there, is so far along in Holo Presence, way farther along than anybody else. They've got their Oculus store. They've got an incredible library. So on the VR side, they've already got a ton of content. But what do you think about this idea of like Holo Presence and what they're doing with like advanced avatars and stuff? Do you think that might be a freaking game changer? I mean, I kind of sorry to change the subject there, but I just thought of that for a second when we're thinking about all these different things that we can consider, and one of them is that advanced facial tracking, the advanced avatars, and putting real humans into the game.
Yeah, I think this is the future, but I think we are years away from that future unless Apple, you know, has something that it's under wraps and they will unveil it one day, and then it'll turn out that they moved the industry by years, you know, like they did with an iPhone.
Yeah, it's a little.
If anyone has a chance, you know, if anyone has a chance to make AR glasses fashionable, it's them.
Yeah, they'll try that. Okay, so go back to this question though.
Yeah.
What's your pick?
One feature. Picking one feature is really, really hard because I think that wireless is a part of comfort weight, because if you have a wire, it
You're gonna try to cheat on me
weight.
now.
I know, it's true. I mean, I think it's really.
You're like, I don't want to pick wireless or weight. I just take those for granted. It's got to happen. So I want to pick something more sexy. Where you?
I mean,
Go ahead. Where are you going to go? What matters? What about place space reskinning understanding? I didn't even mention that. That's the one, that's the one where like it's looking at your room. I mean, if you can believe it, if you can believe what they show in these trailers, like where it shows this kid's house. I have the trailer for this. Let's see.
Yeah, I remember. I know it looks really well.
Yeah.
But
it's Vanishing Realms. Look at what it does to this guy's. Look at the stairs. Bam! It turns into Vanishing Realms. He's going.
Yeah, I think it's all fake.
The Wizard's Dark Times in your house. Look at that. He jumped on the bed, and he's got a bed in the Wizard's castle.
Sure, but he has a huge house,
Yeah, and then you got an entire dance club in your backyard. You could use this in the bright, sunny daylight, and the tracking is absolutely flawless right into your backyard.
I think it's all nice renders, but we are years from this. And also, I think we first need to have some basic, very important things sorted before we can do this. Because what if you have this? But you have low FOV and low resolution. We need to solve those problems.
Yeah,
first,
but that goes back. Yeah. Okay, so that goes back to the idea of min max. So, like for me, here's what I'll tell you what I'm thinking of. Like let's say I was working for Oculus or so. Like I was working for one of these companies, HTC or somebody, and they said, "Look, we need to know what do you think is the freaking key." Like, what are you putting if we were to be the number one in the industry in this very specific category, or what do you think is the most important thing? What is going to contribute more to like immersion or whatever you might think? For me, what I think it is, I think it's actually field of view. I think field of view is the single most important thing, because I think that eventually when we put on a headset where all of this is freaking VR as well, I think that freaking changes it, man. Because now because even with just inverse kinematics, even if we don't have legit body tracking, if they make all of this outside peripheral still part of the VR world, you're in a different place now. You're not in scuba gear anymore,
I totally agree with you. I'm a huge fan of field of view. That was one of the reasons I bought Pimax, and it had a really great field of view. So that's I agree. However, for this field of view, you also need a good resolution, right? Because what of the field of view if the resolution is bad? And what's also very important, because I think we need some revolution in the way that the image is delivered to our eyes, because you know how VR works now. You are basically cheating your eyes that you are seeing objects that are farther from your eye than they are really are, right? There's this vergence accommodation conflict. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You are looking at a lens from
where it's like 6 feet away, and that's where it is. Like everything is 6 feet away, that's not right.
Exactly.
That's not right.
Yeah. Exactly. If you move an object closer to your eyes, it'll just get blurry. You cannot focus on it. So you cannot really look at objects very up close because they get blurry. Everything is in one focal plane, right?
Wait a minute though. Haven't you ever been like in some kind of game and you took the gun and you put it up to, and you were like, damn, look at how freaking detailed this is. Not everything is blurry. I don't know. I mean, I got to pay attention more, but I feel like I've looked at something in VR and been like, wow, this is crystal clear.
Yeah, I know, but there's a sweet spot, sort of. And if you try to put something really close to your eyes, if you have a small object, because gun is a big object, you don't need to put it right before your eyes, right? You can keep it to like 30 centimeters or something. But if you really try to look at something very up close, like 5 centimeters from your eyes, it will blur, and there's nothing you can do about it, And that's what Facebook was working on with the varifocal lenses. I think this is a very important aspect, of VR, which is sort of not mentioned often.
How expensive though? Like how much money? And then also, what about now? You got moving parts. Like what about when these things? Like now you need a protection plan when you buy one of these.
Yeah, I know, but that's why I said that we need a revolution in how how image is projected to our eyes, because there are some kind of, I don't know, holographic display or something that will make it better, that you can actually see the volume. There's actual, I don't know, maybe I'm just talking out of my ass here, but
No, yeah,
we need
I'm sure there's going to be, like, right now we're looking through these lenses that are magnifying
Exactly.
these screen, like that isn't the way you want it to be. Eventually we want like the light to just like go into our eyes, like just,
Exactly.
and it's just like, oh shit, this looks so real. There was a story actually. There was a story today or very recently. Let's switch over here. Hold on a second. I'm going to switch to this one here. And this is a story that was on Upload VR, and it was basically about this talk that was given by the director of display systems research at Facebook Reality Labs. And this information is just coming out. But basically, they're talking about mitigating the divergence accommodation conflict plaguing practically all current consumer designs and offering greater visual comfort in VR because of the varifocal prototypes. But one of the other things I guess they said was really, really key was eye tracking. Like eye tracking is really important or something. So it's very possible that if this guy was talking about eye tracking being very important, that is something we could see on one of the, like if we do get a new Rift headset, if there is a Rift 2.0, I think eye tracking probably comes along. Maybe we get eye tracking and maybe we get some like facial bone, like who knows? Do you think Facebook could somehow squeeze, like do we really got to wait like 5-6 years for all that Facebook avatar stuff?
I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not into, I wasn't following the developments here, so hard to say really.
Yeah. But yeah, so which one are you taking on this final choice? Is it field of view, resolution?
Field of view. Okay, field of view.
Field of view.
But assuming all other aspects are good enough, at least that they do not, detract you from experience, then I would go for field of view. But I think all of them are important. Resolution is important. Resolution, field of view, comfort weight, wireless. We need eye tracking in order to enable, foveated rendering, in order to, lower the requirements, right? Because I think one of the reasons
if that stuff really works, though. If dynamic foveated rendering, if that really works, and if it works so well, because think about the little things that we notice, the little anomalies that we notice. Like I notice this glare, and different people notice, like they see the edge of the screens and that ruins it for them or whatever. I'm worried about dynamic foveated rendering, moving all around and being like, oh, I'm freaking noticing it doing this, because I've seen things in video games where like I used to play different video games and I would see little things that like my buddy would come over. He's just playing the game, man. He doesn't see the little weird screw ups I'm seeing.
True. Yeah, this is also another problem of VR. That it's so different. How people perceive it is so different. Some people say, I have a friend who says that index is too blurry for him, for example. So it's really weird.
Well, that like if you talk about different faces and everything, like another thing that we have, like one thing I've thought about is, are we eventually going to get to this point where we have small, medium, large? Imagine if we had 3 different headsets, because or even 2, but if you had 3 different headsets, what you could do is they could make an IPD adjust that's in a relative small range, but everybody along that range wouldn't be compromised. Like I can do IPD adjust on a Quest or on a Valve Index, and I can put it all the way to extreme, and it works for me, but I'm still suffering in certain ways. It's still not as ideal as it would be as if I had the native IPD of the actual real unit itself. you're still being compromised a little bit with like binocular overlap and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the FOV and stuff, like it all affects that. So eventually I think we need small, medium, and large, but goddamn, that's going to take a long time.
And I watched a video some time ago, which was not picked up by any VR outlets. This was one of the like tech tubers. He's called Cortex, I think, and he predicted that NVIDIA will come out with a VR headset which will have some kind of holographic display and things like that. So
well,
I cannot find
you
it
know
now,
who's a
but
dark horse? NVIDIA.
Yeah,
NVIDIA is a dark
AR.
horse, man. When AR and VR, like they're a threat in both categories. And but the question is, like NVIDIA, they do have like that Tegra or whatever that was in the Magic Leap 1. So even though most people go with a Snapdragon and they don't go with the NVIDIA Tegra processors, does NVIDIA want to bite the hand that feeds, because if they start competing with Facebook and Apple, if they go head to head with Facebook and Apple in AR and VR, then now they're never selling them no Tegras, right?
Yeah.
But they probably realize, like they probably think, well, we're not going to sell them a Tegra anyway, so who cares?
But NVIDIA stopped developing Tegra for like a consumer market. They focused completely on AI and on autonomic cars,
Yeah. But like Magic Leap 1
that's-
had a Tegra in it, right? The one that's in the Switch or
Yeah.
whatever.
I think, or maybe even a better one. But it was very power hungry. That's why they had to put it in the in the pack. So I actually read some criticism that they made a mistake.
God, what
Tegra.
about Magic Leap, dude? What a freaking collapse.
Oh, I remember when you were so hyped about
Oh
it.
my God.
Ronnie Abovitz.
Yeah. I wanted to believe the dream. I wanted the whale in the gymnasium to be real.
Oh, they faked it so bad. Oh man.
Oh yeah, it was everything. Dude, it was all smoke and mirrors. The whole. I think you know what I think. They really did have something cool in the very beginning, and they just never miniaturized it, and but they never came out and said anything about that because they couldn't. They had to pretend like, oh no, this is what we really wanted to do. But I really think they had something different. But anyway, it is midnight here in Sacramento, California. I got to get up.
We could talk for hours, right?
Yeah.
But I found this video. Watch it. Maybe you'll find something interesting. I think it was completely overlooked by everyone, and maybe this is a bunch of BS that this guy just made up. But the video is called "A Revolution in Graphics is Coming." The YouTuber is Cortex, like Core, Coreteks, and the video is from the 13th of June.
Okay,
And
wait, hold on. Let's just go. I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah.
What's the video called again?
A revolution in graphics is coming. A revolution in graphics.
Oh, is this it's all about NVIDIA, and then it's like at the 18-minute mark or something like that?
Exactly. So you saw it.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's toward the end, 20 something minutes. I think it's like 20, 25. Okay. So
Okay, hold on.
it's Cortex. I can send you a link somehow. How do I do that?
It's all right. I mean, I got it right up on here. So 25.
Yeah, 25. Yeah. Oh, here exactly. When it's showing this
3080
weird
Ti.
headset. It's a bit later. It's showing a headset. You can see like some kind of mock-up. More, a bit more.
All right.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, like
That's the headset?
I think that's the controller,
Okay.
but he was saying that this headset could be directly connected to the 5G network, and things like that. So it's interesting. It's not very long, but he says that there will be like a holographic display and things like that. It will have like NVIDIA GPU, things like that. So
Well, yeah,
maybe all about ideas, but
NVIDIA is working on some next level stuff. Like I believe they're working on like volumetric video and stuff. Like they're like there's a lot of companies that are working on stuff secretly that like could completely change the game out of left field. That's what's exciting about this industry is like I mean, Facebook right now is the leader. They're the clubhouse leader. Like if you were betting on horses, Microsoft is a horse, Google is a horse, Apple, Facebook, like it's pretty much Sony. Those are the biggest
Microsoft.
ones. Yeah. Which one, like if you could only put your money, Nvidia could be one as well. They're a little more of a dark horse, but like if you could only bet on one of these babies, which one do you go with?
As much as I hate to say it, I bet my money on Apple.
Oh man, I hate Apple.
Me too, but people love them for some reason. So if anyone, if they, I mean, like think about the notch. The notch is horrible, right? It's an abomination. The notch on the phones, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If any other phone manufacturer would come out with a phone with a notch, he would be just laughed out of the room, ridiculed, and hated. Apple did it. It's fashionable. Everyone is having a notch because Apple has it. So I think Apple can somehow make things that would not be otherwise acceptable. So I think if they come up with glasses, AR glasses, then those glasses will become a fashion item. People will want to have them.
Yeah, I wonder, do you think though, like the first thing that they come out with will be mostly like those Intel Vaunt glasses where it's basically just like notifications and just little simple things?
I think it's going to be more. There was this huge article on Bloomberg, I think, or some other
but what is it? Is it going to use like LiDAR or something like? Because if you're really trying to scan the world, dude, that is so like the actual outdoor world. Like that's 20 years away, man. Like like Magic Leap was talking about the Magic Verse, where you would go to like some downtown in the major city downtown, and it would basically convert everything to like different stuff, and like there'd be information everywhere, arrows leading you wherever.
Look, there's an article on Bloomberg Business Week called Apple's secretive AR and VR headset plans altered by internal differences. And it says, for example, Mike Rockwell's team of 1,000 engineers aims to create the company's biggest hit since the iPhone. It's a really long article. I think it's well researched. Apple has been working on that for years. They've been buying companies. They invested really lots of money into it, so I think something may come out of it. Read this article on Bloomberg Business Week.
Yeah. Do you think they'll be like one of the first out the box though? Because like nobody, like we don't have a real AR product right now. Like tell me what is an AR product right now. You can't say HoloLens. You can't say Magic Leap. Those aren't available to regular people. Like we don't even, like there isn't even
Google Glass.
I mean, that's not available either. So like I'm saying something that like I can order from Amazon, or there's some kind of website I can order it and it's under like $1,000. Now InReal, I don't know if InReal is launching this year or not because of the whole COVID thing and all that, but InReal might have something, but I don't think theirs is like that great. I haven't tried it. I could have tried it when I was at Oculus Connect 6 because they were just down the street. They had a demo, but I didn't end up going.
No, I don't know. I'm really not in that market. I'm not following it, so I don't know. But I think there are so many signs pointing to the fact that Apple is working on something. And maybe it'll happen in 2 years. They have so much money. They can wait. They can just develop it and wait for the market. When they think the market is ready for that, they will announce it. It can be, in 2 years' time maybe or something. But I think they will do it, eventually, because I think that what you're saying, the future is that we will not have to look down on our phones, right? People don't want to do that. If they can have it in their eyes, they will do it.
Yeah.
And
it's gonna, I mean, there's a lot of things that have to come together in terms of battery life and like so many little factors. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think there's going to be a lot of cool things with that. So I'm open to AR, VR, all of it, holographic, whatever. Bring it on, baby.
I want Apple to, make it popular, and then other companies to come and make products that
make
will be
it
affordable.
more reasonable. Yeah,
yeah,
more reasonable.
But honestly, if someone can, if there is one company that can make it a reality that people will not immediately hate, it's Apple. Like the same with tablets. Like Microsoft had a tablet long before iPad, but people didn't want it, and Apple showed their iPad, and suddenly, people want tablets. So that's how it works.
Yeah,
That's
sometimes.
fact.
Absolutely. Alrighty, Simplex. Well, you know what? I need to get my butt to bed, and so I can get to work tomorrow. But definitely appreciate this interview. It was fun. We had a great talk, and
Again.
that'll pretty much go ahead and wrap it up, guys, for this episode of VR365. Thanks again, Simplex. All right, we'll see everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, take care, Anthony. Bye.
Yeah, it looks like we are live over there on Twitch. See, the nice thing about doing a Twitch episode is like I can chop all this stuff out, when I bring it over to YouTube. So it's like we can just kick back, and this is like behind the scenes type stuff. But I mean, people can be here. I'm not seeing anybody right now, so I'm going to say hello. Anybody home? So anyway, guys, what we're doing is this, of course, is Friday night in Sacramento, California. It is
morning.
Yeah, wait. Well, it's Friday night in Sacramento, California. It is 10:06 p.m. and it is 7:06 a.m., right? In Poland. What part of Poland are you in?
I'm actually in the southern Poland. It's Kraków.
Okay. Southern Poland. And it's about 7:07. It's 7:07 a.m., right? Did I say 6:07? 7:07 a.m. Yeah, it's very, very early in the morning, and he hasn't even had his coffee yet. Wait, are you a coffee guy?
I am.
And you haven't had any coffee yet?
No. But I don't want to hold you up,
No, but is anybody else up? You just text them and say, deliver me a nice warm cup of coffee.
And I would get delivered a divorce probably.
She could be a star in the video too. Okay, so we have Carrie MGVR and JanRed94 are both in chat. So these are the faithful, willing to stay up incredibly late in the morning. Although actually Jan Red is like super early in the morning. He's like same time as you almost.
Oh.
Carrie MG, I don't know what part of the country he's in. But yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a little episode tonight. And what I was hoping to do, Simplex, is there's actually some cool news stories that are going on. Some of them are really depressing. But there's big stories that are going on, right? And so I thought we could talk about them, and I can get your thoughts on it, and then we'll also just go into like general discussion and stuff. But I did want to. There's like really big stories, and I haven't done a regular show, and so I want to talk about a couple of these things. But I'll definitely get your take on the situation as well because you're joining me today. So anyways, what I should probably do is do an actual intro, get this thing started. I need to do an intro for the YouTubes. Hold on a second. I need to find something to throw on the background. Actually, I was just playing a Heart of the Emberstone type trailer. And have you ever played that game, the Gallery 2, Heart of the Emberstone?
I just played the first one.
The
second one I never played.
Really? Because let me tell you, it is very good.
I gotta play it.
Oh,
I have it. I bought it.
That is one of the 25 best VR games. I'm not even playing.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I bought it, but I think it sold horribly.
Really?
Yeah.
I should try to get. What's the head guy for Cloudhead Games? Is it Denny Unger?
I think, yeah.
Denny Unger, yeah. So I saw the guy at like OC6 and stuff, but he's kind of like a little rock star dude. You know what I mean? Like he almost looks like he's in a band or something. Like he was in some band.
Wasn't he the guy that leaked Index? Remember?
Yeah, I actually think it was. I think it was.
So you know what? Look, episode 2 has 325 reviews on Steam. So
All right, so why don't we go ahead and do this? Let me go ahead and do an intro, and I can introduce you, and we can go ahead and get into the show. So I'll have some Heart of the Emberstone going on in the background. All right, ready, set, go.